So Andrea, again, it is such a pleasure to meet you. So can you take me back to starting with Batman Beyond and trying to picture what actors would fit for these iconic characters.
Right. What was really good about this series and working on the casting of it was we'd already done many episodes of Batman, the animated series, and we had a reputation, and people wanted to come and work with us. So when we put the breakdown, which means you send out to agents saying, we're going to make this series, here's what the characters are, here's how old they are, this is what we're looking for, I got so many submissions, beautiful submissions, and all agents have recording booths in their offices, so they record the actors. I get to hear what they sound like. So really it was kind of, boy, that person, we brought in so many actors that were good, and then we started to winnow it down to just a few. And then at the very end of it, we brought the actors in to work with Kevin because we knew Kevin was the one thing that was exactly. Sure. And so we found out who had the best chemistry with him, who did he seem to respond to the best, and both as Bruce Wayne and as Kevin Conroy.
Sure.
And so Will was just wonderful, and we have Bruce Timm's wife to thank for that because she was the one that turned us on to his work, and we were so lucky, and I'm so glad they could still voice this show right now. They're both just that good that they could do it again.
All right, now speaking of that, because I was talking to Will about it before, and the same holds true not just in live action iterations, but I feel in animation too, where if you're taking on the the voice, or you're taking on that character, you are essentially taking on that part, for better or for worse. So with that being said, what was it that you saw specifically that you saw? I know you were saying that there was a lot of chemistry with Will, but was there any hesitation on your part in terms of the character itself and actually having someone other than Bruce Wayne play that role? Because
I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a major challenge, which I was happy
people to be okay with.
Right, exactly. And because Will had an on-camera presence, I thought, okay, that's a step in the right direction. Already we know people like him because they like his work in that show. And then it was a matter of finding the proper character, because Terry McGinnis is kind of a smart ass.
Yeah.
He's
really
kind of
snarky. Yeah.
Yes, and we had to play that but not make him unlikable.
Right.
And Will has a bit of that in him. Will is kind of a smart ass too, and so that was kind of like nice to be able to say, you know what? Remember how when we were talking in the hallway before the session, you were talking to me this way? Bring some of that into this conversation with Bruce Wayne, because that's what Terry's doing. He's messing with him. He likes him. He has respect for him, but he has this desire to mess with him a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's never just straightforward. And vice versa. If you remember in some of the scenes, Bruce Wayne lets Terry get beat up a bit before he steps in to help him.
Right.
And I do
dynamic.
too.
Yeah,
exactly. So they kind of both messed with each other until they found a place of great respect.
Okay, and with that being said, considering where the conclusion ends and all the discoveries that are made,
right.
Was that something that you guys decided down the that was that something that came into play for the characters themselves, knowing that was the finish line?
None of us knew. None of us, myself nor the voice actors, we did not know that's where it was going.
Because it makes it that much deeper, knowing all everything that.
Indeed. And I kind of wish I had known where it was going to go, but I don't think the creators even knew that it was going to end up there. I think that was kind of later in the process where they went, let's make this. We thought about this years ago, and let's make this happen with this show and this. So it was. I think we dealt with it as well as we could, but sometimes you want to set up some things in some earlier episodes that are a little foreshadowing. Right.
Yeah.
And I never had the chance to do that because I didn't know where it was going to go. But I still think it played out really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Andrea, thank you
My
so
pleasure.
much. All right, so here we are, 50th anniversary of San Diego Comic-Con. Can you tell me what it's like to be here? Well, I'm assuming you were only here for a few moments, so you haven't really been able to take it in?
I've been coming since '81 to Comic-Con.
Man, that's legacy right there, yeah.
So maybe not solid every year, but I mean since...
In some capacity.
Yeah, since I think '81, '82. So...
Okay. And is it become like a routine at this point, or have you? Is there something that you take away, every single year?
It keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
But I mean, I knew it when it was at the old convention center. And, you know, it was like one room. And then I remember when they opened the other side and they're like, wow, now it's 2 rooms, you know? So, no, you know, I remember like Jack Kirby would be standing in the lobby and you walk up to him and say, like, I still have it. It's like, can you sign the first Black Panther Fantastic Four appearance? I just walked up to Jack Kirby, pulled out a Flair pen and signed it. So that's my memory of Comic-Con.
Okay, all right. Now, I was speaking with Andrea. I was speaking with, you know, some of the cast and just talking about just the character of Batman itself and how it might have been a challenge to, you know, pass the mantle, so to speak, because we've had so many iterations of Bruce Wayne and, you know, so ingrained in people's minds of, you know, Bruce Wayne is Batman, but, you know, there are other iterations. So can you talk a bit about that and having, you know, essentially a different person, you know, taking that mantle?
You know, I guess 20 years has passed, but at the time we were just thinking about, I think back then we were just kind of following what we had done.
Yeah. So
we were thinking of how do we take this kid who becomes Batman? Yes. So I don't think we were competing with anybody but ourselves. So, but I think I don't know. We were just trying to do everything that we couldn't do with Batman or on Superman. So we were just like, in some ways, it was kind of easy. Does that make sense? Because let's make it faster paced. Let's make it more energetic. Let's make this. It's a kid, and he likes being Batman. So in some ways, it was easier. Terry wasn't as heavy or kind of burdened by being Batman. He actually kind of liked being Batman. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It opened up a different kind of playing field. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And lastly, you know, I was also commenting on even then when the series was on, like it very cleverly tackled a lot of pretty mature, you know, things, you know, in peeling the layers. So can you talk about that and you know, not talking down to you know the viewers and
exactly.
Knowing that the kids are, you know, a little more sophisticated and can, you know, handle something that's a little more complex.
I don't think, you know, we're not intentionally maybe trying to do that. We're thinking about the kinds of stuff that we liked. Yeah. We're thinking about the kinds of things we liked growing up. And that's what we're doing. Like, we're fans too, so we're just trying to make the best show possible. You don't talk down to the audience because you were the audience. I mean, you read those comics too, so that's all we're doing. So I don't think it's that calculated. You know what I mean? It's like, what do we like? What do we want to see? What are things about, you know, comics or the comic book movies we grew up with that we don't like?
Yeah.
So in some ways, that's kind of how we're approaching it. It's not like, hey, how do we write history? We're just like, how do we make a good show? How do we make a show that we always wanted to see? So that's kind of how we're approaching it.
All right. Awesome. Well, Thank you so much, man.
Thank
I really
you.
do appreciate it.
Sure.
All right.
Bye.